Welcome to another My Two Cents with Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo. In today's video, I will be reviewing the IAE and also doing a preliminary investigation of Consolidated Outland's brand new ship, the Nomad. There's so many events in Star Citizen now, and they all center around ships and purchasing ships and seeing ones that maybe you'll never be able to buy, like the brand new Perseus that we're going to see this week. But in the grand scheme of things, they're supposed to be fun and interesting and informative, and I was very excited about this one because I was listening to Star Citizen Live, or maybe it was Inside Star Citizen, and one of the developers was talking about how much they put into this one and how much more it was going to feel like a real expo. It doesn't. Now, one of the things that the IAE does is that each day it changes into something new for everyone. So you have to go there every single day. Now, CIG, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it because I've been holding this back for many, many years. That's absolutely stupid. You have no regard for my time, if that's what you want me to do. I don't mean to be negative, but what I'm saying is that I understand that you want to release certain ships every single day. Do that. But don't make the expo something that I have to keep coming back to every day and walk around this even bigger arena this time, this bigger expedition hall that takes forever to get around, forever to get to see a sparsely populated expo. It is not realistic, and I'm going to bring you there right now. Now, because we don't have server meshing and they're not putting in lots and lots and lots of NPCs, when we get to the expo, it's anything but an expo. It's devoid of people, of noise, of commotion, of excitement, of a living, breathing feeling. It just is very sanitized. And you could come over here, you could buy all the shirts and get all the paraphernalia, or I'm sure they have a $10 something on the pledge store where you can buy it all for real money and not have to go up to everything like I'm doing right now and spending a few thousand credits on buying hats and shirts for each one of the companies that are going to be presenting their products here at the IAE. So by the time you've gotten to this point, you've either woken up on another planet, woken up on your ship, or woken up on this planet, Microtech, and you've got out of your rack, you walked through your door, you walked outside, you turned a corner, you got to an elevator, you got in the elevator, you walked down the elevator, you walked out of the place where you're residing, you went to the train station, you got on the train, you got to the IAE train station, you got out of the car, the train car, you walked up the stairs, you got to the front desk, and 10, 15 minutes of your life has already gone by, right? I mean, that's just what it is. And we're not complaining about this. It's just Star Citizen wants to be real. They want to be, they want to have realistic times that it takes you to do things, and I understand that. But it's all part of what I'm talking about right now. So you finally get to the hall. You finally get to this amazing expo, and you walk through the door, and it's sanitized. There's nobody there. There's nothing going on. And one of the main reasons for that is they just refuse to make it a real expo and just have all of the different industrial designers, whatever you want to call them, the aerospace manufacturers, putting all of their ships. There should be something right here. There should be booths. There should be people hawking their wares, brochures, whatever it is. Nope, I got a nice little ad that we've seen before going on one of the TV sets. I'm walking up a very sparsely decorated, sparsely populated stairwell into a sanitized area where there's 3 ships. This is nothing but disappointing. And look how far we had to walk just to get here. There's nothing here. Nothing. Now, you could have had a whole area with the different weapons set up, maybe a corner of this. Instead, weapons and components are all spread around the outside of the the outside of this hull. I'm okay with that and I'm not okay with that, but here we go. This is the big event. An Argo Cargo and our Argo MPUV, I think it's called. This one must be the MPUV. Multi-purpose utility vehicle. It's a dropship. It's a shuttle, whatever you want it to be. A shuttle that doesn't have a quantum engine. So pretty much drop down to the planet side. This is the Argo Mole. It's a great ship if you could get a number of people to fly it with you. Wonderful for mining. I think it's amazing. Then we come downstairs and we have the Cyclones. This area is well done. This display is well done. This gave me hope that things were going to be even better as I walked around. But I get to Grey Cat, and I'm looking for more stuff, right? I'm looking around. I get to Grey Cat, and it's disappointing. I mean, how could you make these more exciting, right? We all have our Grey Cat buggies, and there's tons and tons of different skins for them. Why not put a different skin on each one? Show us what they are. Show us how they look. Nope, that's not what they did. So we could come up here, we could look at the ships again, and we can see how much they cost or rent one, whatever it would be. At this point, I'm just going to change into my outfit and look more the part inside of the expo. So after walking around a little bit and taking my time to look at all the weapons and components, which I'm not going to bore you with, I found myself to the other side of the hull. And there's this big foyer, this big atrium with nothing in it again. Just devoid of any excitement, of anything interesting, of anything. Why is it there, right? Why? You have so many things. You could have put a couple of the Grey Cats up there. Why? Why do you insist on breaking it down into different days? If you're going to have all this room, just plaster every single ship throughout. But we come here to the main event for the first day of the IAE, which is the Nomad. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Now, I understand shapes of ships are going to cross over. When I looked at this ship for the first time, it didn't look like it had the design language of the Mustang, but when you look closely, the design language is there. Some things I probably wouldn't have done, like the maglev landing gear I wouldn't have done, but it's interesting. And I really like the Cybertruck design of it. Silas Goherner, as you know, is Star Citizen's version of Elon Musk, so there is some continuity there. And having a pickup truck in space, I think it's rather cool. Though I wish there was some kind of field that would go around, like some kind of force field that would show up that would glow blue, red, green, orange, whatever it is, that would form around that back end that would just keep people away from your stuff so they can't just jump up on the bed and start manipulating it, stealing it. Anyway, I'm quite impressed with it. We're not going to stay here. We're going to do a little bit of a review on this ship in a little bit with my own Nomad. So let's jump past this. So moving ahead, we can see the ships here laid out. Pretty much it's the same Mustang, just reiterated over and over again, right? So you have a Mustang, you have a special edition Mustang, you have a Mustang Gamma, you have a Mustang Beta, Mustang Alpha, Delta, you know all of them. So pretty awesome, pretty amazing ships for somebody that's starting out. I now think a better ship is the Nomad, and we'll get to why I say that in a little bit. But I've always been a fan of the Mustang. So IAE this year, I'm sure with some manufacturers like Aegis, they'll fill the hull. I mean, they have tremendously large ships like the Hammerhead. They have tons of fighters. They could fill up a hull or two. But I really think that CIG needs to start respecting our time. I want to get in the game and play, and I think the IAE is a good thing, and maybe I'll go to it 1 or 2 days out of the week. But to force me to walk around these tremendously large halls every single day just to see all the cool things, CIG, no. I'm sorry. This is a holiday week. I work a lot. This is a holiday week. We have family, maybe. Maybe we have family virtually. Maybe we're having Thanksgiving as a virtual presence this year. But I really don't want to spend an hour going to and from the IAE just to see all the ships of the different company. You could have designed this better. You could have made use of all the space better and just had like a center point. And you would just move a different ship onto that center point, a stage. One day the Nomad, one day the Perseus, one day you have a stage that has all of the best ships, best in class ships that were selected, whatever it is. But having this hall that we have to walk around with huge amounts of nothing, it is not an expo. It's more like laziness. Now, I understand you're spending time building out Squadron 42, developing Star Citizen. But if you're going to make us come to these events, make them special, make them feel better, and don't tell us they do. Because I'm tired of people in this world telling me one thing when it's not true. It is okay. That's all. It was meh. And I hate saying that because I am such a supporter of Star Citizen. I hate when I have to say meh. But I'm not going to say meh in the next part of this video. A new day, this day, Saturday, not Friday, like it was when I went to the IAE. This day, Saturday, I decide to go to the hangar and to pull out my brand new Consolidated Outland Nomad. Yes, I paused there for a little bit because I'm trying to get a grasp of this ship and why we need it, and I understand why we need it. There's got to be diversity in the game, and at some point there's going to be so much diversity, the game files for this game are going to be a petabyte. I mean, we're going to need to pick up some kind of technology like Microsoft has with Microsoft Flight Simulator, but for the assets of the game, not for the scenery, because we have tons of ships, right? But diversity, I understand Chris Roberts' whole vision about that. He wants it to feel like a real living universe. And when it comes to cargo, I think this, not in the terms of real money, but in-game money, I think this ship has a place. And I really like it. I really like the Consolidated Outland Nomad. It is built Ford tough. I mean, it is a pickup truck, right? So it is just amazing. 24 SCU. Now we have 12 SCU, I believe, in the Avenger. And I think we also have somewhere around that in the 315P. We have other ships that carry enough in that early game to get us over the hump, right? But if you're looking for not that starter ship like an Aurora or a Mustang, or that intermediate starter ship like a Reliant Core or maybe a Avenger or a 300, spend a little bit more, $80, right? Because most games today, although they say they're $60, are really $120. Just look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Spend $120, you get all the download content. You get to play it for a whole year. Spend $60, you're going to have to pay for that stuff anyway later on. So when you look at it, this ship makes sense in that realm, right? $80, I get a ship that's going to make me money. And we're going to see that it can make you some money when we make a Laranite run at the end of this episode. Now, I love the lines of this ship, and the only thing I don't like about it is that maglev. I know some people can think it's really, really cool, but I don't think it's useful. Maybe just to make it feel a little bit different, but is that really Consolidated Outland's thing, a maglev? Or would that be more like a Xi'an ship, or more like a Treveran ship, something alien? I would have saved that for. But they talked about it having Xi'an-like lines to it. Does that mean that Consolidated Outland has invited the Xi'an to Bremen and now they're using them in designing ships? It's very possible. But it's also very possible that CIG broke into the Elite Dangerous universe, hijacked a couple of designers from Lakon, and pretty much took the design of the Lakon Asp, I think it's called the Asp, yeah, the Lakon Asp Scout, and turned it into one of their own ships, and a badass version of one of their own ships, because this thing has 3 size 3 weapon points that come pre-equipped with 3 size 2 repeaters. Okay, so that's not bad. And they're gimbaled, so it's good for that early person. But this ship is also good because it comes with the bed, so you could log out on the ship at different places. And it comes with a weapon rack, so you have a nice little area to put your weapons. You're not going to have to go outside and go into a different compartment on the ship to get to your weapons. I think the ship is made well. But I'm going to have one complaint, like I do with a lot of the single-seat ships that have this much space in it. Give me a jump seat, a second seat, some way that I could bring somebody else with me without them having to stand up in the back. Because once you start putting physics in the game, people are going to get thrown around the ship when you get into combat. And this ship looks like it could hold its own. I'm pretty impressed with it. So a while ago, over a year ago, maybe over 2 years ago, I can't count at this point, CIG did something different. They started to allow us to configure our ship the way that we wanted it. And that was done with the 300 series. You could pick the paint, you could pick the trim, you could pick the interior, you could even get yourself a coffee machine, a little clock, change the bed linen, whatever it was. You were able to do that. You could upgrade the seat to a premium seat, not that you're sitting on it, but you could look at it and it makes you feel better. But in this situation, they just gave us the ship. What happened to that mechanic? What happened to that feature? I know it's going to come later, but why isn't it in here now? Why wasn't it put into play for every new ship after the 300 series? Because I still have a couple of skins that I could buy for this, which would have just been added to the bill. And maybe CIG doesn't want that to be seen, that this $80 ship is $120 by the time I add the coffee machine, add the glasses, add my own flair. But instead, I get a ship that they give me that's made for a boy that's obviously eating protein powder and just messy and puts things anywhere. I want to be able to design the ship myself. And I want carpet. I want better looking trim. I want different linen. I want a wooden something or other. I want to be able to pick it. And if you tease me by showing it to me in a ship 2 years ago, why can't you do it still in a ship today? So I'm trying to get an idea of like the different sizing of this. So I lie down, I stand up, just to get a picture of the size of this area. And this area has more than enough room to put a bunk bed over there and to have a second seat in it. And I think that was a little short-sighted on CIG's part, because something this large could have been a two-seater. And I probably would have done that. But I understand why they want single-seater ships, because at $80 that makes sense. If it was a two-seater, they'd have to increase the price to $100, $110, and then you're in the category of the Cutlass and the Freelancer, and they make a lot more sense than this does.
Welcome.
Yeah, that first ship that sold for so much, the Constellation, is what caused us to have the ship prices that we have today. The cockpit, I like. The lines of the ship, I like. The handling of the ship, I like. The maglev, I don't. I like the back. I know some people are going to be like, I don't like the back. I don't like this cargo bay. But it does lead you to believe that down the road, you could have other configurations of the ship that could be released, and that can be doing things like search and rescue. That could be doing things like troop, small troop dropship. There's a lot of things that this might be able to do down the road, because it definitely is a large enough ship to do more things than just be a cargo runner. Even if the design does look like something out of Elite Dangerous. In that view only. When you look at it from back here, not so much, but when you look at it from the front, it does. So we made our way all the way to Bezdek. It was a great flight, by the way. It didn't take too long. Well, maybe it did. I haven't upgraded this ship yet, and that is something I will work on. But we got to Bezdek. And before you say anything, no, I do not know what the best trade runs are right now, because I've been away from the game for a while. Trying to breathe and just let go for a little bit so I could be a little bit less salty about the game. And I don't know if it worked. if you're listening to me right now, you're probably saying less salty and laughing your butt off. But we made it to Bezdek, and we're going to go get some Laranite. Now, in the past, this particular run would have made you some money. It would have. I don't know if it's going to now, but it would. Now, really what I want to do is just get a feeling for, are we going to be able to use this to facilitate our growth as an entrepreneur in the game? And long and the short is, yes, you will. I picked up a full load of Laranite for 66,685 and sold it for just over 7,800 in profit. Not a lot. There's probably better runs, diamonds, whatever else you can get today. But I think that it would be a good idea for you to just check whatever Star Citizen trading site you go to find out what the best routes are. And I think you'll find early in the game, if this is going to be your first ship, you'd probably be able to make some money to get up to something that's more useful, like a Freelancer Max, Cutlass, whatever it is that you want. The Max, obviously, is that low to low mid game ship that you really want to get to. But nonetheless, this is like something that I used to do all the time and something I thought I'd come and just get a handle on. And let's see. Yep, we do. Yep, I was right. I just wanted to see the number. 66,685. Yes, indeed, that's what we got. Well, I'm going to say it this way. I give 2 thumbs up to this ship, and it is a beauty. The last ship that I looked at that I didn't do a review on right now, and maybe I will, maybe I won't, was the 100 series. I felt that the 100 was a lazy design. There was a lot of things that were just thrown into it and just left kind of meh. But in this ship, it works for me. It's not the best ship. You know, I still think that the Avenger has character and the 300 series has beauty and sleek lines and it's useful. But you gotta look at every ship isn't for everybody, right? So each ship isn't for everybody. That's the statement. But there may be a ship that you latch onto and you say, I really like that one. The 315 is a ship that I have latched onto. I don't know what it is about that ship, but whenever I fly it, I just feel happy. I think it's beautiful. And then as far as my large ships go, yeah, it's the Carrack. Now I still haven't walked around or looked at my Mercury Star Runner. For I feel that if I do, or I fear that if I do, I am going to be screwed. Meaning that I'm going to spend days and days and days playing the game because I think that is going to become my favorite ship very quickly. In the end, all I have to say is this. Star Citizen, CIG, Chris Roberts, whatever you want to say, they are going to be giving us ships all the time because selling ships makes the money that they need to pay the people that are developing the game. And every now and then you have to look at the ships and decide, are they worth it? I bought the 3-pack of the 100s up front, and I should have done an upgrade to these, but I'm still using those as a potential CCU to something else in the future. I felt kind of like I shouldn't have bought the 100. This is the first starter ship I've purchased since maybe the Reliant Core, because I bought the news van version of it, that I feel I'm going to use it and I'm going to get something out of it. Now I know most of us that are watching the videos, most of us that are playing the game, most of us that are interested in Star Citizen probably already have a fleet of ships. But if you don't, and you're looking for a ship to be a starter ship, I would put this in a top 5, along with the 300 series, the Avenger, the Aurora, and this. And I still would stay away from the Mustang. Always. Always, always. But possibly as a fighter, I'd look at the Talon. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but that one makes sense. Other people have their top ships, but I think this one is going to be a good one. Oh, let's drop the Talon and say the Pisces. Even though it's a lazy design, it's very useful. Folks, that's all I have for you. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.